When I started Rogan Rouge, I had a real passion for mental health, and I could see that through my own experiences battling mental illness when I was younger, in particular an eating disorder, and getting sort of put in and out of the clinical health system. I saw that there were massive gaps in what it really takes for a young person or anyone to really rehabilitate and lead a contributing life. When I was 19, I lived in my van for 2 years, and my team and I travelled across Australia, and we visited 300 communities and worked with 70,000 young people to collate a mass amount of information around the truth behind mental health. A few years ago, mental health wasn't really talked about like it is today, and it was a pretty bold conversation to want to go into communities and say, let's talk about the importance of mental health and vulnerability. In my work, I like to see it in 3 elements. When you're going through a transitional stage, and the same can be said for someone that's recovering from a mental illness. You've got to be separated from the identity that was. And then there's going to be a period of challenge, a period of uncertainty where you question your belief systems, you question what it is you value, you question what's important to you, you question the relationships in your life. And this is actually, that chaotic period is fundamental. It's really important. And it's something that I don't think we allow. We want to fix things generally as people. We like to problem solve that almost to the detriment of that individual's growth. Hearing other people's stories has been one of the things that's helped me most. Understanding that I'm not different for going through what I've been through. I'm not different for questioning myself. I'm not different because I've gone through periods where I've felt alone or isolated, or I've questioned myself, or I've doubted myself. We all go through these experiences, and it's perpetuated by this culture of I'm only going to share the best moments. I'm only going to tell people about the promotion, about the new partner, about the baby, about the wedding, about my new house. I'm not going to tell people and be vulnerable and tell them when things aren't going well. I'm not going to tell them about the day that I couldn't get out of bed because I was in too much emotional pain or I was dealing with a heartbreak. And those stories are equally, if not more relevant, because they're the moments where we need connection the most. So I work with workplaces and schools and also broader communities to facilitate proper rites of passage, which really aim to unify communities as a preventative solution to mental health. Instead of focusing specifically on mental illness as a problem, I like to look at, as a facilitator, I like to look at the solution. And what's the solution? It comes down to having a collective sense of unification, a collective set of values as a community. The thing about living in cities is we need to exist within smaller communities. It's really difficult to unify as a whole city. So yeah, I tend to find working with the communities where people come, whether that's their workplace or like a community group that they're a part of. Those places can become massive vehicles of change if people know how to engage in a different way. If people understand that culture can actually be created collectively, and it can be really positive, and we don't need to, in our workplaces, we don't need to put up with negative cultures. And a lot of the time, from what I've seen, when people realise that and give each other permission to change and to grow, they will.